Students, let us now read and understand the third part of the chapter Let's March, Kailash Satyarthi. I call upon all the governments, intergovernmental agencies, businesses, faith leaders, workers, teachers, and NGOs, and each one of us to put an end to all forms of violence against children. Slavery, trafficking, child marriages, child labor, sexual abuse, and illiteracy. These things have no place in any civilized society. Friends, we can do this. Governments must make child friendly policies and invest in education and young people. Businesses must be more responsible, accountable, and open to innovative partnerships. Intergovernmental agencies must work together to accelerate action. Global civil society must rise above the business as usual and fragmented agendas. Faith leaders and institutions and all of us must stand with our children. We must be bold. We must be ambitious. And we must have the will. We must keep our promises. Over 50 years ago, on the first day of my school, I met a cobbler boy my age sitting outside the gate of my school. I asked my teachers, why is he working outside? Why is he not with us in the school? My teachers had no answer. One day I gathered the courage to ask the boy's father. He said, Sir, I have never thought about it. We are born to work. His answer made me angry. It still makes me angry. Here in this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that all governments, all faith leaders, businesses, teachers, non-governmental organizations, each of them should work together to put an end to all forms of violence against children. The forms of violence like child labor, slavery, child trafficking, child marriages, illiteracy. He says that all these evils have no place in a civilized society. He tells the audience that each one of us can do our bit, can put an end to all forms of violence against children. Government must come up with child-friendly policies. They must invest in education. Businesses should be more responsible. They should be open to innovative partnership. And intergovernmental agencies must work together to bring about some action. Global civil society must rise above their usual business that they plan, and they must rise above their disunified agendas. Faith leaders or religious leaders and institutions must all stand with our children. We must be bold, we must be ambitious, and we must have the will and keep our promises. That is, whatever rights we give children, we have to keep those promises. Satyarthi tells the audience that over 50 years ago, on the first day of his school, he met a cobbler boy who was sitting outside the gate of his school. And that troubled him deeply. He asked his teacher why the boy was working outside and why was he not in school with them. The teacher had no answer to it. Then one day, Kailash Satyarthi gathered courage to ask the boy's father, and the boy's father replied that he had never thought about it. He had never thought about sending his child to school. That did not cross his mind at all because they are born to work. That answer given by the boy's father made Kailash Satyarthi very angry, and he says that it still angers him. As a child, I had a vision of tomorrow, a vision of that cobbler boy sitting with me in my classroom. Now that tomorrow has become today. I am today, and you are today. Today it is time for every child to have a right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace. Today, beyond the darkness, I see the smiling faces of our children in the blinking stars. Today, in every wave of every ocean, I see my children are playing and dancing. Today, in every plant, in every tree and mountain, I see our children growing freely with dignity. Friends, I want you to see and feel this today inside you. My dear sisters and brothers, as I said, many interesting things are happening today. May I please request you to put your hand close to your heart, close your eyes, and feel the child inside you. I am sure you can. Now, listen to that child. Listen, please. Today, I see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, and Martin Luther Kings calling on us. Let us democratize knowledge. Let us universalize justice. Together, let us globalize compassion. I call upon you in this room and all across the world. I call for a march from exploitation to education. I call for a march from poverty to shared prosperity, a march from slavery to liberty, and a march from violence to peace. Let us march from ignorance to awakening. Let us march from darkness to light. Let us march from mortality to divinity. In this paragraph, Kailash Satyarthi tells the audience that as a child he had a vision of tomorrow, a vision that the cobbler boy would be sitting with him in his classroom. And he says that tomorrow has become today. So he says that today it is the time that every child should have the right to live, the right to freedom, right to education, right to health, right to safety, to dignity, to equality and peace. And beyond the darkness, he says, I see the smiling faces of all the children in the blinking stars. He sees children playing and dancing in every wave of every ocean, in every plant, in every tree and mountain. He sees children growing freely with dignity. And he tells the audience that this is what he wants them to see and feel. He tells, he addresses the audience as his sisters and brothers, and he tells them that he spoke many interesting things in his speech. And now he requests them to put their hand close to their heart, close their eyes, and feel the child within them, and to listen to that child. He also tells the audience that he sees thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, and Martin Luther Kings calling on each one of them. We know that Mahatma Gandhi fought against freedom. Nelson Mandela also fought against apartheid. Similarly, Martin Luther King also. So he says that all these great leaders are calling on us to awaken, to get up and be active, to fight against all the injustice done to children. He tells the audience that we have to democratize knowledge, make knowledge available to all. Everyone has the right to education. We have to universalize justice. There should be justice for all. And have pity and concern for those suffering. There should be global compassion. He tells the audience that he calls upon them to march forward from exploitation to education, to march from poverty to shared prosperity, to march ahead from slavery to freedom or liberty, to march from violence to peace, march from ignorance to a greater awakening, and to march from darkness to light and from mortality to divinity. Homework to be done. Answer the following questions and complete the English workshop given at the end of the lesson. Exercise 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 and 9.